Welcome back to Ride JBI. This is JB. Today we're taking a look at the JBI Suspension 2023 WP Shock Bladder Kit. We started developing this kit back in the winter of 2022. That's when I started developing our own bladder specifically for this shock. On our previous 2017 to 2022 WP bladder kits, we utilized a Honda CRF show-up bladder because it was pretty much ideal in the size, shape, and volume that we needed for that generation WP shock. But when it came to developing a bladder kit for this new shock, it was quickly apparent that that bladder would not be the ideal one. There's still a few companies using that bladder in this new shock, and you can. Again, it's just not ideal. So anyways, back in winter 2022, we started working with a few rubber molding companies to have our own rubber bladders made. We finished up that part of the process around February of 2023, and then at that time we started getting the hard parts made. So by that I mean our bladder cylinder, our bladder cap, Schrader valve cap, O-rings, and circlip. Alright, now that plane has gone by overhead. To re-summarize that, after we finished getting our own custom JBI bladders made, we went ahead and we had our bladder cylinders, bladder caps, and pretty much all the other hardware pieces manufactured. At that time they were already designed. I just hadn't had the hardware pieces made yet because I wanted to see the finish and final designs, or let's say size, of our rubber bladder kit. That was kind of the tricky part, to know exactly what size it would come out to be once we had a mold made and we actually started making the rubber bladders themselves. So all this came together a couple months ago, and we were able to put a kit together and install it on this shock. And we've been using this kit for a good probably 15-20 hours now of ride time on it. So we got quite a bit of ride time, a lot of that being myself and a lot of that being other riders riding this bike as well. So far these have been working absolutely perfect. The bladders are holding their nitrogen charge like we'd expect them to. There's absolutely no leaks around any sealing surfaces, so where the bladder cylinder meets the shock upper mount, or where the bladder cap seals on the inside of the cylinder. Kind of hard to see. Let's see if we can get a better view up that way. There we go, the red piece right there. So as we expected and as we hoped, this first batch of bladder kits are working absolutely perfect. So we went ahead and we did sell the other remaining 11 kits that we had made in that first article batch, and during that time we've gotten feedback from everybody using them, and all the feedback has been positive and perfect as well. And right now as I speak, we have a production batch of our bladder kits being made. So soon we get a nice production batch of our bladder cylinders and our bladder caps. We already have a bunch of bladders on deck. We have a bunch of snap rings on deck and every other parts. So now that we've finalized the dimensions and sizes for our bladder cylinders and bladder caps, we are excited to be moving forward and releasing our new 2023 JBI Suspension WP Shock Bladder Kits. These will be available at ridejbi.com. The cost of these bladder kits is going to be $150 USD. Cool. Well, we'll keep you updated as it gets closer in terms of having production batches available. At that time, I'll go ahead and make up a product page on ridejbi.com, and we'll have much more in-depth product info and technical info as you would normally expect, and we'll also do a release video at that time also. All JBI suspension services and parts can be found at ridejbi.com.